G'day guys, full drive tyre rotations. How often are you rotating the tyres on your full drive? I'm going to explain to you the tyre rotation pattern that I use and why it's so important that you rotate your tyres on your full drive on a regular basis. Let's get into it. Righto, so as you can see, I just do all my tyre rotations. I just do them at home in my shed. You know, you might have access to a workshop where, you know, you can put your full drive up on a hoist, and that's probably going to make it a little bit easier than what I'm doing here. Or you just take your full drive down to one of your local tyre shops and they'll do your rotations for you. Now, I've got all four tyres sitting safely up off the ground, sitting there on jack stands, and that way it enables me to move all of my tyres around in one go. So much easier, rather than jacking up one side, take that tyre off, put the next one on, drop it back down, go over the other side, repeat that process on all the other corners. So that's the way I find it nice and easy. Now, I also rotate my tyres every 10,000 Ks, give or take, as close as I can do. That way I find, you know, I'm getting the best mileage and best wear and tear out of my tyres with that sort of regular basis. Now, I also keep, to make sure I'm getting close to that 10,000, I've got a book here, this logbook that I write down all of my mileage and the last dates of when I did my last rotation. So the last one of this was done on the 5th of November of last year. And that was at 357,000 Ks. Now today we're at the 8th of May, and actually 8th of May is the patrol's birthday. I've had this vehicle for 13 years today, and what a great 13 years it has been. So good time to do a tyre rotation on it. And today we're at 370,000 odd Ks. Now, yeah, just a little bit over that 10,000 K range, a couple of thousand over, but that's all fine. And that way, you know, I can keep an eye on, and so I can make sure I'm getting my tyre rotations done on that regular basis. Now, I'll just go through the tyre pattern, the rotation pattern that I use. I've done a bit of a sketch here of the 5 tyres. Now, I put all 5 tyres through my tyre rotations. I don't see the point of having, you know, either a brand new or a near new tyre sitting there up on your spare there, and you're not using it, just waiting for the day where you get a flat tyre. So I put them all through, and you'll get so much more longevity out of your tyres by using the 5 rather than just using the 4. So here we go. So the two rear tyres, they just push forward on the same side for this first rotation. They just go straight forward. And then this one here, the front right, that goes to the opposite corner on the rear, on the passenger side on the rear, straight across to there. And then the passenger side front on that other side, that will go up onto the spare tyre. And then the spare tyre drops down onto that right-hand rear. Now that's the tread pattern and the tyre pattern rotations that I'm using. And I find I get good wear and tear out of that tyre rotation pattern. And the other thing you need to take into account if you're going to be doing your own tyre rotations, you need to make sure that your four drive tyres aren't what they call a directional tyre. So if they're a directional tyre, somewhere on the sidewall there will be an arrow pointing the way the tyre spins, that it must spin when you're driving down the road. Now, I don't know of any full drive tyres in this case where they are a directional tyre, but hey, there might be one out there that I don't know about, so make sure you do check. If there's an arrow on it, it'll say it's a directional tyre. It can only go on that side where it's on, so you can only go front to back, back to front. You can't go crisscrossing because they're just not designed to spin that other way. So do be very careful about that. And just check your sidewalls, which mine aren't, so I can crisscross and put them on other corners, as I've explained in that pattern there. But just make sure yours aren't directional, because you can't go by that pattern. You can only go left, front to back, back to front on that same side. Righto, so let's go through just some of the reasons why it's important that you rotate your tyres on a regular basis. Now, let's just get this one off. Yep. This is the Goodyear Duratrack and aggressive all-terrain. Now, the reason why you do it is to get even tread pattern wear right across the surface on all your tyres. Now, as I mentioned in my case, all 5, and that's, you know, just the best way to get, you know, good tread pattern wear across all your tyres by using all the tyres that you've got, not just the 4. And the only way you're going to really achieve this is by moving your tyres to different corners of your full drive, unless you've got one of those, you know, cases where your tyre is a directional tyre. Well, you're not going to be able to do this. As I mentioned, you can only move front to back, back to front. But by moving it to different corners of your full drive, that way they can, they'll deal with different driving styles while it's on the road. Your front tyres are going to be steering, and they're going to be wearing a bit differently to the back ones. So you bring your back ones forward, then they become your steering tyres, and then your steering tyres go to the back, and they just deal with different terrains as well. So that is one of the main reasons why you move around, just to get that good wear and tear surface across the front there, and works an absolute treat. And just another tip too, if you are going to do your own tyre rotations of your full drive, make sure after you've done your switch around, you've got all your tyres, everything all back on, full drive's back on the ground, go for a drive and make sure your front tyres particularly are in balance, that you haven't got any wobbles going on there. Because you're moving your tyres around to a different corner, the tyres you now put on your front, they could be a little bit out of balance, and you might have some bit of steering issues going on there. Because look, you wouldn't want to do your rotations on one day and you're heading away on the big trip the next day and you haven't been for that drive, and then you start to roll out the next morning to head away on your trip and you're heading down the highway and your steering wheel's going like this because your front tyres are a bit out of balance. So make sure you go for a drive, check them out, and if they are a bit out of balance, shoot down your tyre shop, get them rebalanced, and away you go. And also your front tyres, they're carrying a lot of weight compared to, your back tyres, and especially in the case of my patrol, because I don't have any back seats in the back there, so there's a lot of weight going there, and I don't have any, big heavy drawers in the back of my full drive, so there's a lot of weight going there compared to at the front. They've got the weight of the engine there, which is on these two front tyres all the time. So that's another reason why you move your tyres around, to share that responsibility and get the different loads, from front to back. And also with your front tyres too, they do copper hiding, and also your front tyres under heavy braking, you got a heavy brake and all the weight's coming forward on these front tyres compared to what the back ones are. So again, move those tyres around, share that load, share that responsibility that they all need to, and then you'll get good wear out of your tyres and a lot more mileage than what you would do if you don't go rotating those tyres on a regular basis. So there you go, guys. I'd be pretty keen to hear how you go about rotating your tyres and how often you do rotate your tyres. Let us know. Be pretty keen to hear what you guys are doing. So until next time, guys, we'll catch you a bit later on. Over.